Most people know the risk of smoking traditional cigarettes. However, since most public information has focused on tar and tobacco, many people do not think about the harmful effects of nicotine. The e-cigarette vaping industry has used that ignorance to market a new nicotine delivery product that appears harmless on the surface but has dangers, especially for youth. These little devices can deliver up to 24 milligrams of nicotine, which equates to 1 pack of cigarettes. Calculating the nicotine level is very difficult. For example, the nicotine density listed for e-liquid is the number of milligrams of nicotine per milliliter in the e-liquid. That means that a 10 milliliter bottle of 24 milligrams of nicotine e-liquid would have 240 milligrams of nicotine in it. Likewise, a 30 milliliter bottle of 24 milligrams of e-liquid would have 720 milligrams of nicotine in it. If you don't understand these equations, it is very possible you don't understand them either. Most e-liquids come in several strengths. It's just high, medium, low, and zero. But different companies may not have the same standards for strength. Therefore, it is possible that youth will choose a level of nicotine that is much too strong for their bodies, or not even look at the levels before smoking. If youth smoke an e-liquid that is too high, they can make themselves sick and drastically increase their risk for addiction. If you notice that teens are experiencing headache, nausea, and dizziness, these are common symptoms of a nicotine overdose. You should contact a doctor immediately. Nicotine is highly addictive, and the level of nicotine a teen may experience at first try will make a difference. Nicotine affects your brain, lungs, heart rate, digestion, and even reproductive organs. During adolescence, the brain is still developing, and a strong dependence on nicotine can make a huge impact in adulthood. It is important to know that nicotine activates our brain receptors. When these receptors are activated, they release a chemical called dopamine, which makes you feel good. The pleasure response to dopamine is a big part of the nicotine addiction process. Over time, it takes more nicotine to create the same level of dopamine response to make a person feel good. This is because the number of nicotine receptors in your brain increases. While this might not sound dangerous, the reality is that nicotine interferes with the body's natural ability to experience and communicate pleasure. If teens are addicted, they have a harder time creating natural feelings of pleasure in everyday activities without nicotine. The natural dopamine that is in your body decreases because of the extra dopamine in the system. That's why as you try to quit smoking, the lack of nicotine in the body creates anxiety, irritability, restlessness, difficulty concentrating, depressed mood, frustration, anger, increased hunger, and difficulty sleeping, which can cause issues at home and definitely in school. Using nicotine as a teen makes lifelong addiction much more likely for young e-cigarette and vape users, and companies know this. That's why they target youth. If you look at the data, the rates for teen smoking were the lowest we have seen before e-cigarettes and vapes came along. Well, e-cigarettes and vapes are small and can be hidden easily. They have no ashes and make no mess, and look high-tech and pretty cool, sometimes like a flash drive or even a dropper. Convenience and tech are appealing, of course, but one of the major appeals of smoking e-cigarettes and vapes are the seemingly delicious flavors available. Flavors like cotton candy, cinnamon toast crunch, blueberry muffin, and strawberry smell sweet and harmless. The novelty and often candy-based flavors have been very successful at creating a high-level nicotine delivery device without the harsh taste of traditional cigarettes. It may come as a surprise to many, but the flavors themselves pose a risk to the e-cigarette and vape user. E-juice is not just flavored water vapor. It is chemical vapor. Based on current research, many flavors have been shown to be toxic due to the chemicals they contain. The aerosols produced by the chemicals in e-juice enter into the user's lungs and leave chemical residue behind that irritates the mucous membranes and cause breathing problems. It's not just the lungs that are affected. Those who vape also have eye, ear, and throat irritation. That is because when we breathe in oxygen, or in this case, e-juice chemicals, this air enters the nose and mouth, passes the sinuses to the trachea, down to the bronchial tubes, which lead to the lobes of the lungs. So this affects the entire respiratory system. Unfortunately, Some youth and adults think that e-cigarettes and vapes are harmless, but they are not. They have harmful effects for youth in particular, whose brains and bodies are still developing. For many people, overcoming nicotine addiction and successfully dealing with its withdrawal symptoms is incredibly difficult. Medications are available that can help reduce withdrawal symptoms, while support and guidance from a tobacco dependence treatment program can help youth increase their chances of staying smoke-free. Say something if you see youth using these devices and help them understand the lifelong effects that these may have on their lives.